Okay, so our timeline starts in 1967 with The Graduate, a Mike Nichols film following recent college graduate Benjamin Braddock, an anxious 21-year-old who's unsure of his future. He's reluctant to join the family business or grad school, and we see him drift aimlessly throughout his college graduation party. There, he encounters Mrs. Robinson, a family friend who initiates a sexual affair with him. She lures Ben away from the party and propositions him. Albeit reluctantly at first, Benjamin succumbs to her advances and they conduct a covert weekend-long affair. Eventually, Benjamin feels guilt and tries to end things, but as fate intervenes, he meets Elaine Robinson, Mrs. Robinson's college-age daughter, and the two feel a genuine spark. Problem is, Elaine is soon to be engaged. After following Ben through his jealousy, secrecy, and awful decision-making, he makes a grand, desperate entrance at Elaine's wedding, stopping the ceremony. He and Elaine burst out of the church and onto a bus, screaming to each other as Simon and Garfunkel play the young lovers off. Though this movie is often remembered as a satire of 1960s suburbia and youth culture, this film expertly showcases the Madonna-whore complex, the theorized duality of female identity, consisting of the chaste, uncorrupted, and pious Madonna, referring to the biblical mother of Christ, and the immoral, promiscuous whore. You are one or the other. This Freudian fallacy supposes that a woman's modesty decides how much respect she earns, with the inference that a woman who has freed herself from societal inspection should be condemned accordingly. It is also, as you may have noticed, a binary. Society loves those. This binary asserts that women are one-dimensional and can be crammed neatly into either box. The only way for a woman to restore her erstwhile innocence, and thus her respectability, after being shoved into the box labelled whore, is to have a child. Although a woman must, in traditional conceptions, engage in sexual activity to become pregnant, giving birth is seen as restoring her purity, since motherhood is seen traditionally as an innately virtuous experience. A woman's magnum opus is therefore the birth of a son. But here's a riddle for you. If a sexual woman cannot be respected, and a respected woman cannot be sexualized, what is the cultural consequence of the sexualization of every woman? What if your mother is a whore? Okay, so a couple years ago I wrote about the death of the Madonna-whore complex, which was a brief look into the rise of the Milf as an identity and fantasy in relation to surrounding beauty trends, economic trends, and media representation. And in my ever-ambitious quest to discover what I can get away with talking about on YouTube, this video is a sort of update to that essay, a kind of deeper dive into this idea. And as inherently sexual as the topic is, trust me, Googling Milf does not present the kind of sociological material I was looking for. This is, like most things in life, something that genuinely fascinates me. And I should be clear, when I use that term in this video, MILF, I'm not strictly speaking about older women who are attractive, or about the Moro-Islamic Liberation Front. I'm instead talking specifically about the concept of the MILF, as an idea in its relation to motherhood, a fantasy, most specifically as a new category of woman. A category that gained popularity with the hit blockbuster American Pie. We can thank Jennifer Coolidge for many things, having a glorious filmography, being an animal rights and AIDS support activist, and introducing the world to the MILF. Coolidge's role in American Pie fed the term into the mainstream like a schoolgirl offering an apple to a horse. And what was just a term used by Californian college students became a cultural phenomenon. 4 years after the release of American Pie, Fountains of Wayne released the song of every summer since 2003, and suddenly the term MILF was everywhere. Magazines, books, cinema, 2 Spirit Airline ads, and television. Think Desperate Housewives, or The Real Housewives. The early 2000s loved housewives. And as recently as 2023, we still have TV shows exploring the world of the MILF. Not that these shows are any good, mind you, but I'll let TLC off the hook. Nothing they make is any good. The show currently has a 14% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, where critics describe it as psychological torture and a Freudian horror. Jesus Christ. And like, that review is wild. Like, that's just an objectively crazy review, so I had to check the show out. I've never seen it before, I very rarely watch reality shows, but for the uninitiated, this is a Love Island-esque dating reality show in which mums come on this show to find love. The problem is, the men on the show are their own sons. I do have a soft spot for reality shows. I've never like sat down and watched one like I am right now, but I get it. I understand the appeal. I also ordered Subway right before this, so if Subway comes before I finish this episode, I'm not finishing this episode. I'm eating that Subway. I have my priorities. And the point, right, is they haven't got to this yet, but the point is that the men on this show are their sons. That's spooky! Oh!
My name is Paula. I am originally from Mexico City, but right now...
Oh, they have their silhouettes? That's so creepy!
Curious as to what I could find here. I mean, this is it. All of my moments have led me to this.
And they're gonna reveal their own sons.
Interested in me, I can be interested in them.
I'm ooked and spooked.
What's going on?
What's going on? Okay. Okay. Clearly the older women are better actors than these young men. Because that reaction was so... There are moms? That's my mom? Like, yeah, dude. Okay, maybe the moms aren't good actors either. That's my mom? Like, yeah, dude. Like, duh, you flew out with her. You flew out to Mexico with your mother. Presumably, going on a show called Milf Manor, your single mother would also be on the show.
We're supposed to date the other moms?
We're supposed to date other moms? Yeah, it's called Milf Manor! What the fuck else would you be doing? Is it like they can't contextualize the motherhood of MILFs? So to see it in such close proximity with themselves, like, oh, that's my mom. Yeah, it is kind of strange, actually.
Very overwhelmed and a little scared. Seeing my son standing in that line made me feel very awkward.
Yes! Yeah!
Let's go. We up.
Like, that's my thing. I could never date anyone even close to my parents' age. Because why would my boyfriend or girlfriend have something more in common with my parents than with me? Huh? Gagged! Why would I want my partner to be gabbing it up with my mom over me? Ew, they're like flirting already.
It's all up to my mom whether I'm dating her or not.
And he still needs his mom's permission to date these women. I thought the whole point of the MILF fantasy was like, you're the young alpha, you're in charge, but you still need your mom's permission. As the woman, maybe I'm getting too, like, into this. I am getting too into this. But as the woman, if I was dating someone and they needed their mom's permission to do something with me, what are we doing?
Good to see you.
I'm feeling a little weird. All these women are significantly older women, so it's pretty alarming. Not in a bad way.
Is it worth it for the Instagram followers? I don't know, you guys. What was that, you guys? I'm kind of scared. I don't know what was that. And there isn't even a host of the show, by the way. There's no host. They're getting all their information on a little phone. Because what host would agree to this show? What celebrity is down bad enough to host MILF Manor? Chrissy Teigen?
I got a text, guys.
I got a text!
Exactly on the show you thought you were on.
So they were lied about what the show was? That's kinda... Oh, I don't... That's spooky. Spooky, spooky.
Don't judge me. Sorry, ladies. I might be sleeping with your son.
What? 23!
With the guys and then, you know, going out on dates with their mothers. I hear you're a surgeon as well.
You're a surgeon? Assistant.
She's cutting open people.
Brother, if my son was dating someone my age and I was dating someone my son's age,
Really, like, out there actively searching, are you?
Who knows, right? We might find the perfect love in here. Jimmy don't know about me.
It's not the blood that makes me faint. I am open to all ages. My dating app is set to 65.
I'm
maybe this is just me revealing that I'm very anti-age gap. Like, as long as these people are of age, like, I shouldn't care, you know? Like, they're all adults.
And I'm probably the oldest.
But is this not crazy?
Get her out of her comfort zone.
20 years old? No, 20 years old is crazy. 20 years old is first, second year of university, like second, yeah. Thinking back my second year of university, I didn't know anything. If I was dating someone 50 years old when I was 20, because, like, are you not at such a different stage in your life? Like, I didn't know, like, literally anything when I was 20. Because, it was during COVID as well, so that stunted a lot of my learning, but someone who's 50 years old, they know how to pay taxes, they have a careered job, they have life experiences, they know how to grieve, they know how to celebrate, they know how to love, they know, like, all these things in life, and when you're 20, you know how to do 3 shots in a row, like, you know how to, like, do a keg stand. I would be interested if there was a gender bent version of the show, because I feel like people would be a lot more uncomfortable with that. You know? Like, good for these women. I'm very happy that they're open about their sexuality and they're comfortable in their bodies. A lot of women go through their entire lives having never experienced that, so thank God these women are. I just think this level of performance is tiring, in my opinion. If I was these women and I had to perform this kind of gendered sexuality up until, like, in my menopause, I can't even imagine how exhausting that is. And mind you, I'm 24, I don't perform that level of performed, like, gendered sexuality now. Like, I'm not shaving or, like, doing all this. You're lucky I put on this makeup, quite frankly. Like, this is a lot. This is a lot.
Master suites with hot tubs inside the room.
Hot tubs inside the rooms.
Head outside, where the moms who are the most in touch with their sons.
In touch. Oh, I'm sure.
Staying in the same bedroom. My mom.
In the same bedroom as your own mother. Given any other context, that's absolutely fine. Frankly, I don't think there's anything weird about that. Given this context, I'm perturbed. You know what? Maybe the reviews were right. Maybe this is a bit of a horror movie. It's like, maybe this is a bit of a horror movie. The premise itself is crazy, obviously, but it's like a bad reality show, even if the premise was fine, because there's no host. They're trying to do like little competition games, but it's like filmed in silence, by the way. It's, like, this isn't a game, this is something I would come up with when I was 20 to be like, oh, it's just like an icebreaker, you guys. It's like, you know, like 7 Minutes in Heaven. They need to figure out who their son is by touching his abs. This is bizarre. In fact, no. I'm tired of trying to like appeal to the audience who's like into this. I'm tired of giving grace. This is weird. This is bizarre. This is spooky, and I am scared. This is strange behavior. After plotting out this timeline, I decided to consult experts who are obviously very familiar with MILF content, my Twitter followers. And based on what I found out, I went ahead and made the ugliest fucking pie chart that you have ever seen in your life. You're welcome. Obviously, age, physique, and the nurturing aura of MILFs, it's not surprising that they're the top 3 answers here. But the ex relationship and taboo answers were what I found most interesting. In these instances, attraction to a MILF is not about the woman herself, rather the fantasy centers on her sexual history. If you're in a relationship, in this fantasy, with an older woman, you have presumed dominance over your lover's ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, etc. You are the young pup who's proving that she can be loved again. This fantasy of competition between the younger man and ex-husband perpetuates an objectification of the woman. The woman is a mere symbol of sexual status, and this frankly homoerotic competition between fantasizer and hypothetical ex-lover is an aspect of the MILF fantasy that I had never considered before making this video, but it is an obvious trope across all MILF media. And yes, I know, obviously, I know, the MILF fantasy can apply to lesbian and queer relationships, but all of these responses I got were from men, so for simplicity, this analysis in this video is very heterocentric. Oh, but wait, there's something missing from this chart. There's actually a response that nobody gave as to what's appealing about the MILF. Like the first letter of the acronym, hello, motherhood. I'm starting to suspect you guys aren't real MILF enjoyers or something. You just like old people! I can only presume that you're all fans of Desperate Housewives and American Pie, right? Right? Listen, I'm obviously dodging around where this term is most prominent. I'm not stupid. If only because that's the least interesting aspect of all of this to me. But it's hard to ignore that MILF has been a top 5 search on a specific website for the past 2 decades. Breaking it down by geography, shout out to California by the way, the homeland of the term MILF, as well as Tennessee, Delaware, and also Michigan for amateur wife? Because how the fuck is someone an amateur wife? Dude, that's called a fiancé. Sorry, I am just nervous. I've never been a wife before. Also, while we're here, Maryland and Nevada win the best answers here by far. I mean, I think Nevadans just got confused and just like searched for their own city, but sure, why the hell not? During my very professional research for this video, and by professional research, I mean talking to my Twitter followers, I received feedback that frankly made me reconsider making this video at all with a point to the effect of, aren't you over-intellectualizing what is ultimately just a kink? And in some ways, you know, they weren't totally wrong. I do tend to do that. But let me tell you why I respectfully disagree with a little tangent. Obviously, this video is not a judgment or criticism on anyone with any kind of sexual preference. Talking about kink is fun, sex is silly, but it's also inextricably linked to bigger topics, especially within politics. I want to be intentional about how I say this, because there's a way to word this point for it to be misconstrued, so I want to be intentional and specific with my words here. Conservatism is a kink. much to the contrary of Republican conscious awareness, or even by their own admission, conservatism is at least kink adjacent. Population control. That's a breeding kink in disguise. The daddification of Trump. That's the sexual submission of authoritarianism. Obviously, there's the phenomenon of racists, majority of the time, watching race play porn. Transphobes, a majority of the time, watching trans porn. It's uncomfortable to say out loud because those latter points are very reminiscent of, in the 2000s this was prominent, of calling someone who's homophobic just a closeted gay person. And I think that's dangerous in and of itself, but we do see instances of fetishization disproportionately in the right-wing communities that we see online. I mean, Steven Crowder and drag. Come on, the bit is obvious here. Given how anti-sex education these people are, it's hard to say if they'll ever fully accept this within themselves, but if you ask them why they're doing what they're doing, why they believe what they believe, a majority of people will say, oh, well it makes me feel good, or, oh, it's a form of dominance. They'll use very specific language that is kink adjacent and never fully understand the consequences of that. And I'm not trying to belittle how harmful conservatism is, how it's seriously harming communities as we speak, but tell me you see it too. I mean, let's take a closer look at how princess treatment and tradwife content is just a public display of dom-sub dynamics, with gender roles exaggerated to theatrical proportions.
You're just being a princess. It's not because you're being hoity-toity. You're just letting your husband lead and letting him take care of it.
Respect my man's lead. He provides, he protects, he puts our best interests first. I could ask that man for anything and he would go to the ends of the earth just to get it for me, and if he can't, he's gonna make it. My day caller is a daily sign of submission for us. It is a deeper level of connection than a wedding ring. It's an outside of the bedroom type of thing.
Submit to you in every aspect. You know, when you get home, I take your boots off for you. Oh, I love doing that.
You are going to get so much hate for what you're about to say.
I do all the laundry in the house. I do the dishes. I cook. You know, if you ask me to do something for the businesses, I say yes, sir, and I do it. And me calling you sir is my honey, my babe. And it's like, sir.
These trends frame elaborate gender roles as lifestyle choices, but beneath the surface, these aesthetics play a key part in a larger politically charged narrative that echoes the radicalization playbooks of right-wing male influencers. Where figures like Andrew Tate promise dominance through aggression, this content promises women safety, purpose, and status through submission. The only difference is tradwives are softer spoken and typically not sex trafficking. It's tough because a lot of these influencers creating this kind of content really do not see themselves as political. To them, it's just a personal choice or aesthetic preference. It just makes them feel good, like I said. But this plausible deniability is exactly what makes the content so effective. By cloaking ideology in the language of romance, nostalgia for the 50s, and femininity, these creators can propagate radical beliefs without tripping the wire of overt extremism. What appears to be a nostalgic lifestyle choice is, in practice, political content. These creators espouse talking points that align neatly with far-right ideology, anti-feminism, Christian nationalism, anti-LGBTQ sentiment. The femininity on display here is carefully curated to be non-threatening and palatable, a stark contrast to the more overtly militant tone of male influencers in the same sphere. Yet, the ideological payload is just as intense. Where Andrew Tate tells men to dominate women to reclaim masculinity, the tradwife influencer tells women to submit to men to reclaim femininity. What many viewers don't realize is that these rituals mirror the performance of kink. Dominance, submission is perpetuated and celebrated without ever using the language of kink. This, in effect, is normalization. It's a political act masquerading as self-care. All of that to say is that Kink is important, and it's worth overthinking and over-intellectualizing. Maybe it's not important to you personally, but it's hard to argue that it doesn't have its space in the discussion. I mean, back to the topic at hand, for example. Birth rates are dropping because nobody can afford parenthood in a cost of living crisis. So, the MILF is here to stay as an unattainable fantasy. No longer because she's a mother in actuality, but because she represents one in aesthetics. And that's the point, right? This may be my coldest take ever, but it's all caricature of gendered performance. It's fantasy. It's drag. The difference, however, between sexual kink and what I'll call political kink, as in the performance of a kink lifestyle as a guise for political propaganda, is that the latter is extremely unstable. Very rarely do all parties involved allow themselves to interrogate the nature of their own behaviour, why they're performing, who they're performing for, and this instability of political kink often leads to exploitation and abuse. I think I'm developing a bad habit of finding a game to discuss that's relevant to my video premise, but if there was ever an opportunity to discuss this game, it's now. No Mercy is an explicit incest simulator, in which the protagonist blackmails his mother, coerces her into non-consensual sex, and abuses her. At least, that's how the news articles describe this game, although that's not entirely accurate. This isn't just an unnamed protagonist and his mother. This is, for all intents and purposes, thanks to the medium of video gaming, you. At the start of this game, you name the protagonist, presumably your own name. You name the mother character, and even customize your relationship to her. This is a simulator to emulate abuse and project your own harmful fantasies onto these characters. A fantasy no longer about desire, but about punishment, about reasserting dominance over women who are perceived as too powerful. The MILF in this version is controlled, used, and silenced. The game's promotional material encouraged players to never take no for an answer, and become every woman's worst nightmare. On April 1st, 2025, No Mercy was released on Steam without age restrictions, making it accessible to users of all ages. The following day, the game was banned in Canada and Australia. By April 5th, the UK government condemned the game, with the Technology Secretary Peter Kyle stating that platforms like Steam are required by law to remove such content promptly. 5 days later, Xeric Games, producers of the game, announced plans to remove the game from Steam, citing the controversy as the reason. The day after, No Mercy was officially removed from Steam, globally. At this point, I need to, for clarity, make something known. I'm not unfamiliar with adult games. I'm not clutching my pearls at the concept of a game being explicit, or even at a game being violent. Video games are a form of art, and art should challenge and even be uncomfortable at times, in order to explore difficult, but often necessary themes. You don't have to agree with the actions of a protagonist in order for a story's existence to be justified. But this game is not art. The topics discussed don't surround kink or fetish, as the game is described by its creator and defended by its fans. It's revolting. This game is the natural conclusion of political kink, anti-feminism and violence hidden wimpishly behind freedom of expression. An audience that grows bigger every day with the normalization of political kink, of anti-feminism, of right-wing ideology, and of conservative propaganda. And in this case, the price the audience had to pay was just under £9. For the 3 people out there who read my original essay, you'll notice that I'm a lot less harsh on the MILF than I used to be. In the research for this video, I realised that the MILF is more than just a porn category or a punchline. She's the walking contradiction at the heart of modern gender politics. She represents a woman who's done everything society has told her to do: marry, bear children, age gracefully. Yet her continued visibility, sexuality, and desirability unsettle that same society. Is it objectifying to categorize a woman in any specific way? Yeah, But as an identity, a lot of older women find comfort in the fact that they're still seen as attractive. The MILF fantasy reveals our deep discomfort with women aging without fading away. Instead of disappearing into domestic obscurity, she becomes fetishized, but only under strict conditions. She must remain hot, disciplined, unattainable. She can be worshipped, but only if she never asks for real power, respect, or autonomy outside of the fantasy. In this sense, the MILF kind of becomes a gendered drag performance. Not necessarily performed by the women themselves, but by the culture around them. It's a performance of maternal sexiness without real motherhood. The illusion of maturity without the weight of having lived experience. The fantasy of the powerful woman just kept tame enough to be consumable. And this is the essence of political kink. A sexualized caricature of power dynamics wrapped in aesthetics, often disguising regressive ideology. The MILF is eroticized not because of her independence, but because she can be imagined as both dominant and submissive, powerful and compliant, maternal and hypersexual. And the more society wrestles with questions of power, gender, economics, and autonomy, the more extreme this performance becomes. That's what this essay's been about. Not just about why people are into MILFs, but why the culture needs them. Why it invents, recycles, and mutates the MILF over time. It's a feedback loop of desire, fear, and control, dressed up in Botox and push-up bras. Or, maybe it is just a kink. And